Okay, hello everybody. My name is Byron Gabriel. I will be your training specialist for today. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of discuss a few topics here with RingCentral and with your services on your end. For starters, what we'll start with will be the service web. Now, the service web, which is also called a portal, is an online database to where you can access your profile with RingCentral. The web address for that is service.ringcentral.com. Once you log into the service web, you will see only your information. You're going to use your login information that will be given to you by your admins or your management team. To set up your user hours, if you go here to the fifth setting here where it says settings, if you click on this, this will actually take you to all of your settings for your profile with RingCentral. Your user hours will be located under user details. Now, to expand and retract each section here, all you have to do is simply click on the title itself or the little upside down pyramid directly next to it. So when you click on user details, you will see all of your information specifically just for you. You will also notice that there's a little sub menu here. The general tab is where it'll take you to it first. But if you click on settings and permissions, this is where you will see your user hours. So as you can tell at the present time here, some of you might be set to 24/7. Mine are already set to custom. But if you wanted to change it in any way, of course, under user hours, you will simply click on edit and then change your user hours here. For instance, if your hours are set to 24/7, if I hit save, it'll change it to 24/7. If I wanted to change it to something more custom, I go back into edit. First thing I do is click on custom hours. Now notice here that it'll put Monday through Friday. If you work weekend hours, you can also click that radio button next to the weekend days to change that as well. The easiest way to change your user hours is simply do it the very first one. So say for instance, if my hours are 8 to 5, if I change it to 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., if I change it on my very first one, if I go to the very far right-hand side and hit this drop-down menu to where it says copy to weekdays, if I click on that, copy to weekdays, and then as you can see, it changed it from all my other days. Now from here, of course, we have our soft keys here. One thing I wanted to show you here with the soft keys, it might not be in the same order that I have here, but if you do, you'll have one here that says page. So if you do have this page option here, all you have to do is hit this soft key right here and follow the steps for paging. Once you hit page, you will be launched into the page feature, which then at that point, you will dial the extension or of the individual or the group that you are attempting to page. And it's just that simple. From here, the next thing that I would like to show you will be call park. Now the call park option only shows up when you're on an active call. So as you can see here, this kind of demonstrates an active call. You see I'm on the line with my buddy Crash right here, right? So as you can see with the Polycom phone, your screen looks different when you're on an active call or when the phone is at rest. So this is a whole different other settings here under the soft key options. So when I'm on an active call, if I wanted to park this call, which by the way, call parking is you're basically parking a call into the cloud for somebody else to retrieve at another location on site. Now what I mean by that is, let's just say here I got this call from my buddy Crash. And I wanted to park this call because I see that Crash runs around the office a lot and I want to let him know, hey, you got a call parked. He's not at his desk. I say, you got a call parked. He's able to go to any Polycom phone or any soft phone and give him the code that I'm about to tell you about here in just a second and retrieve that call from the cloud. So he does not have to be at his desk. This is why a lot of people like to use it, because you park the call in the cloud until somebody's able to retrieve it. To start this process, when you're on an active call, if I'm the person that's parking the call, I'll hit call park. What I will hear is that your call is now parked on, let's say for instance, star 801. Okay, it will give you a range between star 800 or star 899. Once I do park that call is now gone away from my phone. Okay, it's parked in the cloud. So then I can yell across the room or page or talk to Crash and say, hey Crash, you have a call parked on star 801. And as I mentioned before, he can go to any Polycom device or even a soft phone. It doesn't even have to be his own desk. And pick up that phone and dial star H01, the code that I gave him, and retrieve that call from the cloud. Now, here is something to keep in mind. If you are the person that parked that call, and let's say the crash didn't answer, after 5 minutes, that call will ring back to you, and you'll notice it'll be a different ring. It'll be a distinctive ring, like a kind of a fast ring to let you know that call is coming back to you, to where you can now pick up that call again and say, hey, let me try paging him one more time. You can follow the same procedures again to hit call park. It'll give you the code again, and then you can page or yell across the room for the person to answer that call. Next thing I want to talk about, I want to take a little bit more dive into the line keys. I know I kind of breezed by that again, but I feel like I want to go over it just one more time. As I mentioned before, on the Polycom phone, you'll have 6 keys on the far left-hand side and 6 keys on the right-hand side. These are called your line keys. As I mentioned before, the first 2 will belong to you, okay? So if you did set up presence, in the service web or that portal that we talked about previously, then you will see the other ones listed out here. Another thing that I wanted to express to you about the line keys is that you can also manually add people to your line keys. Now, what I mean by that is, let's just say here that you didn't want to add anybody from presence from the service web or the portal, or if you wanted to add somebody outside of the organization, because as you saw in the presence with the portal, you can only add people that way that are internal, that work for your organization. If you wanted to manually add somebody outside of the organization, all you have to do is press and hold any one of these available line keys. Your screen will then change to where you can manually type in the name and then, of course, the phone number of the person that you wanted to manually add to your line keys. It will walk you through step by step. It's very user friendly. But again, to start that process of manually doing it, press and hold any one of the available line keys. You will see your screen change for you to add the first and last name. Then, of course, you can scroll down and then add the phone number. Okay. Another thing that I wanted to show you will be to how to access your voicemail from this Polycom 411 phone. Now, you will notice if you hit your home key that if you're back on your icon screen here, that you will have an icon up in here on your screen for messages. This will launch into your voicemail system. You can access this voicemail icon by simply using your navigation pad. You can go up, down, left, and right. Once you have the icon selected, hit your middle button to hit enter, and then you're launched into the voicemail system. At that point, everybody, you will be prompted for a PIN. You would use your 6 to 10-digit PIN that you created when you first created your account. If you listen to the menu, it will walk you through step by step on, for one, accessing your voicemail greeting to change it, or even accessing your new voicemail messages. Another thing that you will notice on the bottom kind of left-hand side here, this button right here that looks like an envelope, this will also launch into the voicemail system. So if you click it from here, if you click on this button here, you will hear that same recording is going to ask you for your greeting, for your PIN. And then once you enter in your PIN, you will be launched into your voicemail system to where you'll hear a main menu to where you're able to change your voicemail greeting and then, of course, accessing your voicemail messages. The next thing that I wanted to show you is how to change your phone presence. Now, this will come in handy for my RingCentral soft phone user and my Polycom phone users, which we'll talk about here in a moment. Because when you change your phone presence, you have the ability to to change people within your organization to show up on the top part of your phone, especially if you're using the Polycom 411 phone. You'll have your line keys to where you can kind of create like a quick speed dial, and I'll show you that here in a moment as well. But to start that process to change your phone presence, you will go to call handling and forwarding. Sorry, phones and numbers, excuse me. You'll go to phones and numbers. When you click on phones, and you'll see once you click on phones, you will see all of your devices listed here. The Polycom VVX 500 and the RingCentral soft phone is what I have for me. But if you go to presence over here on the upper right-hand side, this will pull up your phone presence options. Now, everybody, keep in mind that with your phone presence, the first two keys will belong strictly to you. Okay, just like mine is showing up here. But if I wanted to add multiple people, as I mentioned before, within the organization to my phone presence, I go to my next key, which is for me, number 3, which it should be for you as well. Go to the right-hand side to where it says Select User. It will pull up a list of all the people within my organization. Now, as you can see here, I have 7,654. So you don't have to scroll through each and every one. If you just go up here and start typing the first or last name of the person that you would like to add to your phone presence. For instance, if I wanted to add my buddy Crash, if I start typing Crash's first name, then my options will come up. I put a little radio button next to his name, hit done on the bottom right-hand corner. And then as you can see here, my line key number 3 is now assigned to Crash. I can continue by adding other people to it by simply going to my next radio button, which is 4. I can add my buddy Amber. So I start typing her first or last name. There it goes. Add my buddy Amber, add her. And just for good measure, let me just add one more to my 5th one. Add my buddy Evan. And then once I'm done adding everybody that I would like to add to my presence, all I have to do is go to the very bottom right-hand corner and hit save. This will let me know here, you'll get a notification that your phones will now be rebooted to reflect the changes that you have made. So if you're using the RingCentral soft phone, or if you're using the Polycom phone, these changes will reflect that. And I'll show you where these will be located now once you jump to those devices. So I'm gonna check yes, because I do want my phones to reboot, because I want that change to take effect. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to actually show you the Polycom VVX411. On the Polycom VVX411 desk phone, the physical phone, I'll show you different things like call park, how to park a call. Then we'll talk a little bit more about those line keys, which will include our presence, which is what we talked about before. Okay, so you'll show that change here on there, and I'll show you how to get to that here in just a moment. And then I will also show you in this particular part right here how to access your voicemail. When it comes to the Polycom 411 phone, if you're using the phone for the very first time, this is how it will look. Now, you will notice that some of you will have these icon screens here, but then you'll also notice too that you can toggle between 2 home screens by hitting this home button right here. When you hit this button, home button, you'll have the icon screen here, or you will have your line key screens right here. Okay, so you will see that here. Notice down here at the bottom that you'll have your soft keys, which we will get to here in a moment. Now, as I mentioned here with the far as the presence, the first 2 keys will belong to you. So you'll see either your full name, your extension, or your full digit number. Any of the line keys or the presence that you set up, for instance, the ones that I set up, you will see them indicated here directly next to each one of these buttons here. These are called your line keys. So for instance, remember the very first one that I added for my buddy Crash? I will see him on line key number 3. So all I have to do is hit this button right here, and that would automatically call my buddy Crash. Same thing goes for Amber and Evan that I added as well. So this is where your presence will show up on the physical Polycom phone. And in just a moment here, I'll show you where those presents will actually show up on the soft phone when we get to that section as well. The next topic that we're going to talk about will be the RingCentral soft phone. Now, with the RingCentral soft phone, I'm going to show you different things as far as like the heads-up display. Now, the heads-up display is just like what we were talking about before with the presence in the web portal, or the line keys and the presence on the Polycom 411 phone. But you'll also have what we call a heads-up display that's on the soft phone. I'll tell you a little bit more about that, and it's more of like a speed dial as well. Then from there, I'll also show you on your on an active call how to manually call record any of your calls. Now, as I mentioned at the very beginning, once you go back to the admin portal, once you go to the portal, you will actually go there to get those recordings. Once they are recorded, that recording section on the far left-hand side under messages to retrieve those recordings. Then I'll finally show you also in the RingCentral soft phone how to obtain and to get your voicemail messages here as well. All right, to do so, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to actually show you in the actual live version of the RingCentral soft phone. Now the RingCentral soft phone, once it is loaded to your laptop, PC, or PC, it looks like this. Okay. What you do, you go to the RingCentral soft phone, you double click on it, and it takes you here. Now, as I mentioned before, the very first thing that I want to show you, if you forget everything that we've talked about today, if you hover your mouse over any of the icons, it will tell you exactly what it is. We're going to go ahead and start up with this heads up display. Now, again, once I click on the heads up display, as you will notice, these are the entries that I added from the very beginning in the service portal. You can see my buddy Crash, you can see Amber, and you can see Evan. Now, the reason why a lot of people like to use this in the soft phone is because it creates like a quick speed dial as well. So if you hover your mouse over any one of these that you added, you can either shoot them a call, give them a call. Another cool thing about it as well is that you're actually able to see their status changes. As you can see, my buddy Crash is on the phone with my friend Sebastian. Okay, it'll show you this. It'll show you only internal as far as who they're talking to. Otherwise, it'll say that they're on a call. But I like it for that reason that you can actually see their status. And if you wanted to add or edit your presence, which for here is called the heads up display, all you have to do is go over here to the upper right hand corner. You don't have to go back to the service web. You can actually do it from here and click on edit. And as you can see, this is why you're in edit mode. Another cool thing about the edit mode is that you can actually move people around. So if I don't want Crash to be that third option as well, I want to move him over here, and I want Amber to be my third option, and move Evan around. I can do so while I'm in edit mode. I can also add additional people. If I go to the upper right-hand corner, look at that, hit add. Then I can start finding people else to add to my heads up display and my presence. So I add my buddy Jonathan by typing his first or last name. Okay, put a little radio button check mark next to his name, hit add. And as you can see, I've added him as well. If I hit save on the bottom right-hand corner, then I have now adjusted my heads up display. And of course, I have added Jonathan there as well. Now you will notice too that this will also change on your Polycom phone. And of course, it changes it here on your soft phone. Now, next thing I'm going to demonstrate an active call. So with that being said, I'm gonna give a call here to another number that's in this room, okay? Because I actually want to show you how to do the call recording. All right, so now I have my active call here. You will notice when you're on an active call that you will have all of your options. You have your mute and hold and all of that good stuff. But you will notice here in the middle, this recording option. If I hit this recording option here, as you can see, it's given that record option. It will make an announcement to the person that this call is now being recorded. If you do not wish to be recorded, please hang up. It will give them that option. And as you can see, I'm recording because as you can see, the stop option is right there. Okay. Now what I can do if I wanted to just stop the recording before my call ends, all I have to do is hit the stop option and it will let the caller know your call has now been recorded. Okay. And then as we talked about before, that recorded call will now show up in the portal under messages under recorded calls. Now, if I didn't hit stop the recording here, if I just simply hung up, then that call recording would end the moment I disconnected that call.